Welcome back to ASMR Lover Chat.
I've made my decision. The winner of RuPaul's Drag Race is
It's chocolate. Oh, Jesus. Gross. It's chocolate.
That makes me so happy. Everybody, welcome back to an amazing. What was the line? Oh fuck.
I
thought you were serious for a second.
So
never trust a fart.
Never trust a fart. Hey,
Never.
everybody. It is me, Mayhem Nico. Welcome back to the show. This is X is for Show, your premier media response show. You can check us out all over the webs at X is for Show. As for me, I'm at Nico Action. That's NICOACT. This is my own fault because I was making a joke about somebody forgetting how to say something.
Jonah, cut him off.
Cut me off.
Hi, I'm not Nico Action. I'm Jonah. You can follow me over places at Peak Jonah. That's PEAK. I know how to spell.
NICOACTION. Thank God. Okay.
Good job.
And I'm TK. You can find me at TK Elemental.
And I'm up here for once. Not sure how I got up here. I'm like a cat. And I'm your producer, Kev O'Reilly, KEVOREALLY.
Okay, it really
We're here to talk dolls.
I say it sounds like we've all had a Super Bowl, but that is not quite the case at this moment. We're just we were at an amazing convention earlier today. The top tier up here. We're at Farpoint convention up here, while our top shelf partner in the rung right below was not there. Super bummed out, but we got to be there with the incredible, unbelievable Demanda Martini, such an unbelievably talented drag performer, lauded Maryland over up in the DMV. Also in attendance was the irrepressible Jess Krause, who is a literally world famous Xena cosplayer. But also, just to kind of put it out there, Tawny Newsome was like a foot from us. And it was also really cool to get to see Jay Lee, a star of the Orville. So that's part of why I can't talk today.
So how was it?
It was a lot of fun. We had a really good time talking with Demanda and getting to be on the panel, and definitely had an absolute blast.
What was the panel?
We talked about X-Men 92, talking about what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, what we would love to see for X-Men 97, what they would take from the other X-Men animated shows like Evolution and Wolverine and the X-Men, and stories we would love to see adapted. Not to be biased, I think I gave the best answer.
Well, I'm sure you did.
What was the answer, Jonah?
Oh, I want Exterminators. I want that animated.
Okay.
I said I want new X-Men and was asked how the U-Men could be made child-friendly. But at least I think that you could do that and M-Day all at once. And instead of killing 16 million mutants, just to power them.
Okay.
And then it works. Anyway, this is not that show. But if we're going to talk about this for one more second, I just want to say that after 40 minutes on the internet, the Wicket trailer had an amazing 110,000 views. Really.
I think it was 130. I think you were underestimating. It was doing very well, Nico.
I mean, really, it was one short day in the Emerald City that this had to gain its views. But with 45 minutes, the trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine had already bested 1 million.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love the open shirt. I love the Wolverine reveal.
I wore this all day. This is JoJo's shirt.
Yeah,
it is my shirt.
It was an unbelievable reveal. The trailer gave away nothing. In fact, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer is the least amount of Deadpool footage I have seen from any media outlet in the year 2024. All said and done.
That's so funny. It's true though. It's the least amount of Wolverine we've seen.
Yeah.
That is really true.
I was very impressed with them for cutting it that way. The fact that Aaron, what's his name?
Brockovich.
Yes.
That famed lawyer Aaron Brockovich as Pyro gets such phenomenal screen time.
I've got fire moves you've never seen.
I would love Julia Roberts as Pyro though. Ooh, Emma Frost.
Julia
something.
Roberts giving a late in life Cassandra Nova.
would be
Do heavy
incredible.
prosthesis. That would be amazing.
I think it would be amazing if she were Destiny and just everybody else were super young and they were like the old crone here, and all of us would be like, it's fucking Julia Roberts.
And like that is okay, and that really does help us segue to our topic in a big way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having some trouble with All Stars a little bit.
With
UK
UK versus the world.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's an All Stars. It's let's just call it what it is. Let's call it All Stars and All Stars. Country versus the world is let's do an All Stars with an international crew, because I don't know. I'm bored of all one country when it's the US. It's really great to get to see like if I got to see a Canadian All Stars, that would be really exciting. But the US girls get the most exposure, and they get their own whole Untucked show. And then they get a million appearances on all of the coolest and most exciting WoW shows and YouTube tie-ins. So I'm much more here to see these international queens shine and dazzle as they clearly deserve to. But I did feel a little bit like between that and Traitors this week, there was kind of was this the comedy we intended? This was not the comedy we intended when the night started, for those of you on a Studio 60 rewatch, because the Disaster Show is quite literally the best 40 minutes. It's Frasier good. It's one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. So Allison Janney gives the best performance of her life against Timothy Busfield.
But that is not where this is not the comedy we intended to do comes from.
No, that's from that's D.L. Hughley at the desk when they have to do the sports reporting, and it's the cricket match in like Sri Lanka or something.
Oh,
yeah.
That's the one.
Oh man.
So, obscure references aside, what do you mean? What's the problem? What is the common problem between UK versus the World Season 2 and Traitors Season 2?
US. The
Traitor sus.
Traitor sus. The real trick here is the producers are going in with one expectation, and they're pushing us toward it. And we saw it so bad in Traitors this week. They're like, and I'm saying this as an obnoxious white woman. Trishelle, nobody feels for you right now. You signed up for a game. Please don't get mad at your friend for taking the spot you want in tic-tac-toe just because you're playing for money.
Don't get mad at your friend who then tried to come up to you to talk to you and then brushed him off and then get mad at that he didn't come talk to you.
He was
also, Trishelle, nobody cares about you. You know, you're not getting. I love how they got up to the tower and they were like, "Does anybody care about Trishelle?" No, not
no
even a little bit.
No.
Not a threat. Not, particularly convincing to anybody. I'm sorry, girl, but we've been known it for 20 years now. Not smart. Good luck on them physical challenges, but I have never once been like, well, it's Trishelle's game to lose.
Trishelle, you know what? Good luck at the physical challenges. Can you imagine Trishelle being on Triple Dare? And they're like, do you want the trivia question? And she goes, no. And they're like, all right, do you want the physical challenge? And she's like, no. And they're like, what would you like? And she's like, can I have the luxury challenge? Can I like be carried on a palanquin, but
I shall have
eat grapes
shoes
while I do it?
Do you have any funky hats for me? Could I just
Any
do a funky
jewelry?
hat challenge?
Funky jewelry.
Yeah, I mean, for real. She's trying to major in advanced basket weaving and a minor in underwater being.
And stargazing.
Yeah, she's not killing it. But that's also kind of what happened with Mayhem. And one of the things that I saw Traitors do is they came up with an imaginary system of, you want to light a fire, right? And we'll let you want to light one too, and we'll let
it was just very surprising that we had a whole Sandra taking over, having a whole Survivor moment with the billiards balls and explaining how number voting works. Like, this is what you need to do if you want to win. Granted, she's working with 2 traitors, which is hysterical. And then they're just lighting torches, and we're like, "Oh, it's just a Survivor. We're just changing games."
And so between that and I don't think they meant to say Mayhem home this early. This was a Pangina moment, but not quite. And then you're seeing it played a lot better over on Drag Race proper right now, where admittedly it feels a little bit like Plain Jane is kind of picking off the boogers. It feels a little bit like Plain Jane is kind of duck hunt sniping off, because she kind of looks like the dog that comes up and does a
Well, actually,
thing.
that's Mistress, because it goes like this.
Yeah. So it and then Sugar and Spice of the Ducks. But that's how I'm feeling. Thank you guys for letting me ramble till I found it. It was a long day. I drove 5 hours. But
He drove me here.
I drove him here. So how do you guys feel about it when shows are kind of clearly angling to keep the plot line going to the point where they change everything? It became Survivor. Alan Cumming being like, "Yes, light the island torches on the island of Scotland."
So go for it.
My only question first, and then please by all means go first. Is anyone keeping an eye on UK to know if this is something from there? Like, I know the
You mean traitors suck.
Yes, I know traitors
Hmm.
suck. I know the Rusty Poison Chalice challenge was something from UK. That was something that came up in my timeline that I saw. So I don't know. Is this something from UK, or is it? Do we feel like this could genuinely be like, do something?
From what I've gathered from my little internet sleuthing, this seemed to be new and
This is
weird.
unique to us. Okay.
Yeah, and a little scrambling to not have all of the traitors eliminated so early.
Okay. Teak, now please by all means.
Yeah, that does seem to be the case. So for me, we've got 3 things going on here. The worst offender for what you're talking about is regular Drag Race. The US Drag Race for me is doing the worst job of concealing production wanting things to be a certain way. And it's not even necessarily that the wrong queens are going home. I personally think they are, but it's more that the critiques are so insane and not related to anything, and I just don't feel like the right people are ever in the bottom.
But that's what's making it work for me. Like, they're
Well, sure.
ultimately just being like, we can all agree that performance was a 3 when it was a 9. But on these other shows, they're like, there's a technical reason. You see the lighting. Technically, the lighting made it a 3. I'm so sorry. It was a 3 by lighting.
He just called me a 3.
Repeatedly.
For traitors, I don't know. Traitors, nothing to me matters at all. There are no rules. There is no law. So when they're just like, oh yeah, we have this random, daisy chain save thing, I'm not really like, I kind of forgot that we had that conversation where you were like, they really, like, production really steps in. And I was like, yeah, this makes just as much sense as anything else that happens on this show. And meanwhile, on UK versus the world, I guess I was so laser focused on trying to figure out if RuPaul had found another stash of Quaaludes, if this was a post-plastic surgery thing.
No, Mama was sick.
She was definitely sick.
Mama was ill.
I will give it to her that she was ill, but maybe the Quaaludes made her sick. We're never going to know.
Mama took some bad Quaaludes on the plane.
You really love this narrative because I know you just want in on that stash.
100%. That the dream is that she hears it and is like, that little faggot got it correct. I should give him a couple.
She puts you in a matching face
sent them in the
bikini
mail
with your mustache showing.
Yep.
So it's a John Waters bikini.
I love how many celebrities this makes calling you the F slur.
You turn on your TV and she's like, "Congratulations, TK. You're the winner of this week's challenge." And you open up a
Got a
box.
little envelope. She's like, this is going in the mail right now.
It's a golden ticket. It's not chocolate.
So yeah, I mean, for me, the greatest offender for what you're talking about is U.S. Drag Race.
Well, and I think its brazenness keeps it sacred, keeps it holy, because it doesn't care. So let's talk about it. I hated this challenge. This challenge was the dumbest thing since making fragrance. This was so stupid, and I know that it's in the age of Barbie, and like I'm a man with dolls, but like,
let me ask you a question. Did you hate this challenge, or did you hate how long this runway with the challenge component went on?
Well, I do want to first say that Kevo entered a delirious state, cackling maniacally every time he thought it was over, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. No. And so Jonah got me the. So this isn't the actual correct order. This is the order that was on the whatchamacallit, on the Wikia. This is the order that they came out in. And guys, by Maya, I had tapped out, which means there were 4 more queens after her, that every single time they introduced a new one, I was like, no, there can't be more. I couldn't breathe because I was so exhausted. I, by the end, was like, this is our lives now. Forever and ever. It's just queen after queen introducing doll. It's going to be 500 drag queens. It was way too early for this challenge.
It was really funny because while watching UK, I got bored. And when the runway started, I was skipping 30 seconds ahead on Plex because I was like, I just kind of need to see their look. I don't need to hear their stupid description of it. And it was amazing how many times that 30 seconds cut deep into the next queen's time on the runway. So like they were in and out. Like everybody gets, some people got the full 30 seconds. A lot of people were off the runway in a 15 to 20 second cut. These were like 5 minutes apiece.
As I was going through collecting images for us, this was about a minute and a half per person. Each queen got a dedicated amount of time. And
there's 11 of them. So, oh my God.
It was an extra chunk of time. And part of that is because, one, they literally just stole the challenge from Project Runway Season 2, where they literally did this exact challenge where it's, you make an outfit for the Barbie, and then you make an outfit for your model. And that was the one where Andre got red for not having a Barbie wig. And he's like, I have a beautiful black model. Why? We were told we didn't have to use the Barbie wig. Why would I put her?
Barbies, they're blonde.
Shut up. But this was also, there were 3 things to it. You had to make a look that was great. You had to dress up a doll that had an identical look, and then you had to brand the doll. This was not so much a sewing challenge, but much more of a branding challenge. This is, what is your brand? How do you translate it? Go. And I think you saw queens who maybe don't have the biggest brand identity right now at the current airing of the show, of how the show was filmed, versus the queens who kind of understand what their shtick is about. There were a lot of looks. Also, they gave these queens the worst fabrics in the entire world. I don't know what it was, but everybody got bad fabrics, and I feel bad for them.
I also, just on that topic, one of the things that I don't ever want to question anyone for, but like, even when you hear, oh, that show, that person did that whole musical by themselves, top to bottom, with very few exceptions to what I'm about to say. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They did not come up with the lighting that you love. They did not come up with the sound design that you love. Oh my God, I don't want to ruin your lives, but if you think you love a director, you probably love their taste in cinematographer.
Preach.
Probably don't love a director. And by that same token, you might love every one of these queens, but you probably love their creative director just as much. And none of these ideas got filtered by a creative director. So some of these girls sounded like they were rambling at brunch. It was painful because when you strip away the editrix, what you leave is syrupy because there's all of this extra sugar on it that you don't need.
it also, like, I just think, you know, I can't even remember who it was. Maybe it was Geneva. Somebody was like, I had dolls. I have dolls. I love dolls.
Nymphia.
It was
Nico.
Nymphia. Nobody gave me the sugar and spice vibe of, like, I genuinely love dolls and, like, maybe even am risking kind of getting made fun of.
Yeah, I'm about to break out one of my share Barbies, but I'm trying to
Yeah.
look 1% mask.
I mean, like, you know, I was a dolls person long enough that I'm definitely gay, but I moved on to action figures because there were X-Men. There be X-Men. Here we go.
I actually keep a doll on my piano to remind me to be brave.
There you go.
Thanks,
So,
Rob.
you know, it just felt like none of them, like, even the, like, something edition, I feel like none of them got that they were being told actually, like, these are Barbies, and, you know, you have Malibu, you know, like, you are essentially doing a Barbie, so your edition should be like, what Barbie are you?
And if you were a Barbie collector, maybe you were somebody who perhaps loved getting the limited edition Macy's Barbie, and you would get it when it was the Chanel special. So you would get the Macy's Barbie Chanel edition.
Right.
Or you would get the I have a Little Debbie Barbie. I have I collected dolls as a kid, you know? And so like
And I mean, I partially blame production because I'm not sure why these weren't Rue Girl dolls or something where it's like there is a standard thing and then you are doing, like, it wasn't, I feel like it wasn't explained to the audience well, and it wasn't maybe explained to the girls well. Maybe it was, and they're just not good at this. But, like, it just genuinely felt that they didn't necessarily get the spirit of it. And so what you're left with is, can you conceive of and construct a look and miniaturize it with enough of a narrative to get through the night? In that way, I do think that Q and Dawn were absolutely the tops of the night. That they definitely successfully did, like, I think both of them, if they had understood the challenge better, could have done an amazing job. I think given that this was a weird challenge, they did great, but it was essentially an average performance overall. Just because it's a weird challenge, it's an average challenge. By contrast, Jane, who is the next best, I thought was kind of terrible. I didn't think the look was good on her or the doll. I didn't think the story was good. I'm getting a little sick of her shtick. None of it shined for me tonight.
Well, I want to say, like, Nymphia and Plasma both killed it. Nymphia and Plasma for me killed it because, like, when you were saying it was poorly explained to them, what I realized is, like, I think Megami really excelled at what Megami thought the challenge was.
Yes.
But these two in particular, when I saw Nymphia's, it was really funny because the zoomed out one, and then thinking about what her look actually was, just follow me for a minute. These are like they're like Mario Princess characters in different looks. Like,
yeah, one is Daisy, one is Peach.
Yeah, and it's this exaggeration of the same world.
Yeah.
But so then you see how there's an interplay. And Kevo, you were just so amazing to get these together. Would you mind switching to the Plasma image for me?
Yeah, no, thank you, Jojo.
These are incredible, Jojo. And then one of the things that I want to comment on here is they're not exact, but the ways in which they are reflective reminds me of the I have a breakfast at Tiffany's that's just a little different. And anybody who's ever collected Share Bob Mackey's knows that they're always just a little different. And, like, there's a beauty in that honesty here that I think is so exquisite. So really, TK, you're really right. I feel like nobody knew exactly what the challenge was.
Yeah.
And for me, 5 girls did well in their category.
I think, sorry, go ahead, Jonah.
I was going to say, they also placed a lot of weird emphasis on you looking one-to-one to your doll. It was very, I won't say extremely strange, but it was a very interesting part of the criteria that was like, no, you have to look exactly like your doll. You have to
Well,
look.
it's the perfect thing to be able to say you didn't do it, and the audience will be like, yeah, I can see that. But then if you don't mention it for somebody who technically didn't do it, but you don't want them to be in the bottom, nobody's going to be like, well, why aren't you saying it with them? Because we move past it so fast.
Yeah, truly. This was, the only person who I could think maybe you could swap out of the top for my taste would probably be Plain Jane. Granted, her branding and her talking part obviously tickled RuPaul and the judges, and that's why I think that's more so why she was in the top. This is a good look, but I think when you really start to zoom in, you see a lot of some of the construction details aren't the best. But I'm also, again, they got terrible fabric. I'm not really going to try to ding them. I'm going to try to kind of go a little bit more Project Runway, where they think about the idea of the versus the full execution.
Yes, the piping here is sorry, I'm like pointing at my screen. The sloppiness of the piping isn't just sloppiness, it's poorly executed thought of piping.
And the thing that really bothers me is anything else is whatever at this point, because the show's kind of gone off the rails a little bit. That Law Roach also was like really hyping Plain Jane, sort of left me wondering if she's really on board with trying to get on this show for real, and was like, no, I will follow instructions. If we say Plain Jane is the winner, I will give the winner constructive criticism, because as a lot of people have pointed out, including her herself, it's a good thing that Amanda went home last week, because she was not ready to be judged.
No,
and I was just shocked that given how harsh Law Roach can be, Jane didn't get. It's not bad. It's not a bad look. It is not like this is the worst, but it is not top 3 to me.
Yeah, no,
it is very like
it's Nancy Sinatra singing. It's deeply plebeian.
And I think Jane's look, and they did this to Plasma. They fully did this to throw her under the bus, putting Plasma right before Jane.
Yeah.
It was really because they saw what Plasma made, and then they saw what Jane made, and were like, oh, the potential was much more. And I do think this was much more of a storyline top 2. I mean, even in I didn't think Plasma was anywhere near bottom 2 lip syncing worthy. I don't think anybody really did, and even their critiques kind of reflected that. They were like, yeah, you just fumbled in the way your presentation, your scarf kept falling off, and you should just kind of roll with the punches and try and put it back up. It looks weird. Just keep rolling. Just keep going. Don't react to it. Don't do anything. And I get that part of it. Even in Untucked, Plain Jane was like, they love this, but it's between Dawn and Q. I'm not really in contention for the win. And she even kind of understood, like, no, I'm just in the top. I'm not actually in contention for the win. And I thought I respected that level of like honesty of like, no, I just liked what I did, but like I know I'm not winning it. I just know I'm not.
I just want to comment though, they made a mistake. They missed out on a really big storyline here. They could have had Susan Cucci if they had just kept denying her the win. Just keep putting her in the top and don't let her have it. The quality of tension, right? I was just showing Kebo this amazing video about the suspension tension of a 4th into a 5th progression in a chord, right? And so like there are things that in music we don't even realize it. When we hear it, they make us have a feeling. It makes us react. And when the storyline is okay, but Q still hasn't won, it builds something for us. It's the only reason anybody even spoke once about my queen Miley just had a really beautiful moment with my actual Empress mega goddess Mariah Carey, and everybody latched onto it. And the only reason they did is because everybody completely mishandled, misinterpreted, and misunderstood the Taylor Swift Celine Dion moment in a way, just to, don't get me wrong, eat the rich, but vilify Taylor Swift for no reason. And I don't get it, but there are things that we sort of do that cause points of comparison. You could have kept this tension in this story just by reminding us every week that Q hadn't won. You had momentum to give Q a triumph. But now that you blew this wad real early on, I don't know. I'm good. It's going to go limp now. And I don't think there's a tautness anymore.
I feel like they also went out of their way, exactly like you're saying, to underscore the idea of it being a story and a narrative because of Q feeling a way about it. And this is, only so far into the season, and congratulations, you did it. So now what? It's the same thing as with them cutting a mandatory meeting so early after building a story around that. Okay. Again, I'm not sure I can follow what is the narrative you're trying to give us this season.
It's tough because there's no good way out of this situation. Technically, Q was the best.
Yes.
Q had the best design and the best doll. Q's looks are so good and so well executed every time that we're getting to a point where maybe Q's A is or maybe Q doing her best is kind of like a B, because nobody's surprised anymore. Like, she gives so good that like she has to step up herself, whereas Dawn was told, I want to see versatility. She said, I got you, babe, and holy shit,
she looks so good.
She looks so good. All the critiques were correct. It was Balenciaga.
I'm going to bring your point back up later, TK. Your point is so accurate. I think it's the basis for All Stars judging.
For me, the winner was Dawn because I was excited, and I feel bad because I don't think this is better than what Q did. They're maybe equal. Maybe this is like a little bit, because it took less to do, but there's also something to be said for like minimalism and simplicity. So I don't know, but we're now in this place where like this was not exciting, and we have pulled attention away from the idea that maybe Q, because like she can be funny. The brick was funny. The why was funny. So maybe her snatch game was going to be funny, and maybe another week where she didn't win to win in a challenge that is not a design challenge later in the season would really give us that like, oh, this queen who was always in the top finally topped herself, on something other.
Who would want to top that?
Top that.
You top.
Finally got it on something other than a design challenge, and also like extended the tension of this whole thing. Dawn, I think the win would have been more exciting. I don't know. We're just kind of flatlining this season.
So I've seen some people take like umbrage with Dawn's look. It's apparently a lot more divisive than I really thought it was going to be. I'm going to say this, and even as someone with very minimal fashion knowledge, the girlies who get it, and the girls who don't. Yeah. This is, if you don't understand the reference and if you don't understand what this is emulating, I don't think you're going to like it as much. I think her draping is beautiful. So there were some technical issues, but I also, again, look past that. I'm looking at the design. Did she design something well? I was kind of blown away by this. I also think her makeup looks so good here. She looks absolutely gorgeous. Just such long, like beautiful, like the beautiful long lashes. Everything about this I loved. I've also been watching Dawn's YouTube channel. She's been uploading and talking about her looks, and she was talking, and this episode, she talked about it more in this episode, but on her YouTube channel, she talked about how she views the character of Dawn is that there's multiple versions of Dawn. There's an intergalactic Dawn, there's a aquatic Dawn, there's a Dawn from the 60s, and it's...
Dawn and I would get along so well.
And that's why, for her, the Valley of the Dawns, it isn't just one singular character that just fits into this kind of aesthetic. It's multiple versions of herself, really. And I think this was a really beautiful glimpse into that version of her. I was really proud of her. I was really excited, and I didn't think she was going to win, and I knew it should have gone to Q, but damn did I want Dawn to win. On the flip side, to go into something you said earlier, TK, about weird judging, I do think Maya was in the bottom, but they said some very weird things to her, like you should have patted your doll.
Yeah.
What? What are you talking about?
Well, because everybody takes their dolls to the doll drag store to go get padding.
It was very weird to critique.
I also thought Law Roach mentioning the boob sweat was weird. It was funny, but it was so weird because it was like part of the judging.
Which can we quickly segue to say how much I appreciate and love Law Roach. I thought she was hysterical. And
Yeah. I do think that she should replace Carson.
This was tame.
I really want to interact with something we're talking about with the judging being so impossible to interpret. I am really bad at hiding my poker face. And I famously don't give a shit. I think Saphira walks on water. I think she is literally too good, and she could go home next, and I'll still think it was her season. And I never know what these judges are thinking. I'm like Michelle Visage. We are from literally 16 miles from one another. We're the same bitch, my dear. Rue, my mother understood how much I loved you as a child, that we watched the RuPaul show during dinner because my mother knew that made my day better. This is two people that I don't know would like me, but I know...
No, they'd like you.
Michelle would like you.
But I truly believe that, like, okay, ask these two. When Dreamer by Liv and Joy came on, I physically shook the bed dancing and singing along. It would... Anyway... I think these two women are literally two of the smartest people in all of entertainment. So when I say this, I don't mean it mean, but there's times that it is very clearly the whims of these two women, not the better judgment. And I never mean to say that their worser angels weigh out their better angels, but Saphira did not make the wrong choice drinking a potion when the criteria for this insane challenge was so ill explained that we've justified every one of these girls not knowing what the actual challenge was.
Yes, I only wish that like she had taken a little bit more of a pause, because if she'd taken more of a second to gauge the reactions, I think she might have hesitated to take the potion, because I think everyone was pretty shocked. But I really get where she was coming from mentally, because this was, like we keep saying, this was like a step above the fragrance challenge.
This did kind of harken back a little bit to older Drag Race, season 4, season 5, when it's, no, you need an actual political slogan. No, you need to make an actual fragrance. It doesn't smell good? No. Oh, this magazine that you didn't really design? Oh, no, it has to look like... Sometimes
the editorial page didn't have the right credits.
Sometimes they ask for like realism when this is all fake. They're all people in dress up.
It's a set, Broom.
It's a set, Broom.
It's a set, Broom. They're all in makeup and wigs. It's like, what are we doing here?
Wig.
I don't know. I will say I slightly disagree that she took it. I think I more so agree with Kevo. She did not need to take it. I think she was, and she talked about it, just a little bit more in her head. I think she just got so caught up that, oh, no. And from what she was saying, it seemed like a couple of the girls maybe made some kind of comments to make her feel like it was a lot worse than it actually was. I thought she looked quite lovely. It wasn't the best, and I don't think she was going to win, but I looked at it and I was like, no, she's safe. She's absolutely safe.
I mean, I would have been proud to have her on my arm.
So to go back to what you said, Nico, it is feeling like we are at the mercy of Michelle and Rue's whim. And I don't actually think that is the case. Again, I think this is actually, it's funny. Jake and I were talking about this earlier today, because I was talking about, the brand of the buck stops with this one person companies, and how I don't think Steve Jobs would have let the Apple Vision go to production as it is now. I think he would have dreaded this being a product that losers put on and get in their Tesla. Just the way we've been seeing it in malls, and it's just always these pathetic nerds wearing it. I think Steve Jobs would have seen that and known not to produce this the way that it was. Apple for years was really Steve Jobs' company, and that is a perception. Steve Jobs didn't make every decision, but the vision was the buck stops with Steve Jobs on everything. Cinematographer, thank you. Yeah, and that's the thing with the director. The director, we have this vision that is the person that the buck stops with. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not actually them. When you like a shot, you don't realize what about that shot you like that the director didn't do, but he did curate the right people. RuPaul has curated a very capable story production and editing staff, but the final decision is mine to make, she says, which technically is true. She is responsible for receiving all the hate when we don't like one of the decisions for who goes home. That said, story producers are telling her this is who's got to go to make it work for the season the way we envision it. And so when we talk about these judgments being their whims, they're the ones that are saying the thing, but it's very cognitively dissonant because what they're saying makes no sense if that is their opinion and that's what their criteria are. It makes sense if you think that there is, stuff going on in the background where they need certain people to stay for a certain amount of time. They want certain people around for storylines. They like certain conflict. The problem is, on top of all that, I think they're just getting it wrong this season. I think they're thinking the wrong things are compelling and are going to make good story fodder. And it is the Q thing. If they had given Q another episode without a win, there would have been even more tension to be like, what's going to happen next week? Increasingly every week with this show, I'm like, maybe I don't super duper care what happens.
Can I give a small tinfoil hat theory?
Yeah.
Thank you. I think production likes Q, and knowing that next week is going to be a rusical, maybe we're a little worried that they couldn't really fudge enough to justifiably keep Q. So they were like, let's give her the win now, and in case something happens next week where we can't give it. That doesn't mean I know that Q goes home. That is just based off of last week's performance challenge. Q struggles a little bit with dancing, and part of
can't sing.
But to that point, I want to jump on and say for a second, I'd forgotten that this was actually a Drumline Step Squad show, and that Geneva's name was The Yard because Maya stomped her. That was
The setup for that joke was the worst.
Maya was in Stomp.
Maya, the joke was horrific, but Maya's performance
it was also Maya Amon LePage performing Janet Jackson's Control.
No, stop it. Stop. No. You stop right now.
I know you didn't like the edit.
Control.
I know you didn't like the edit.
The worst. That was
guys, Nico loves Janet Jackson more than anybody, so this rant is
less. Did they pay less because they only sampled the worst parts of the song? What did they do to the beat? When Jimmy Jam said that this song is Minneapolis funk, there was a rhythm to it. There was a build and a swell. There's an intention to the way that song moves.
Can we do a special feature for this? Because I don't think we have enough time to allow you to truly give your thoughts and feelings. I genuinely, this is one of those ones where I want to know if the song was like something totally different. If it was like, it
was originally Selena's Como La Flor.
Or not even that, just like a stupid pop song, just like a Taylor Swift song or something. And they were like, oh, it's Maya versus Geneva. Okay, we're doing Janet Jackson's Control. Because it was just, it felt so tailor-made. And Geneva held her own.
Yes.
She rose to the challenge 100%, but Maya, it was that thing from season 7 where none of us really bought it. And then Kennedy Davenport had to really dance for the first time. And after that, it was just like, there is no queen with that kind of, I think everybody thought she was a dud. And then the first time we danced, we realized that she was just kind of waiting to unleash. And it was really the same thing. And I have felt that Maya deserves to be in the bottom and go home because she is not taking that RuPaul rule where take the thing that you're good at and apply it to every challenge. I thought Maya should have been in the bottom for saying to RuPaul when RuPaul said, you seem kind of reserved. No. I think that's a capital sin. You were just thrown a softball to do anything to show that you're not.
On my face?
There's something on my face.
To be honest to God, to me, it was that offensive. I know it wasn't meant as bitchily as Pearl.
I agree.
I know it wasn't meant in the same spirit. Like Pearl really should have center packing, but like that was such a huge miss for Maya.
Well,
I
bet
just
you're
thought
aged to me, Hollywood star.
I just thought she can never recover from that. And I'm happy I'm happy for her that she has had the opportunity to stay and to show how talented she is, because I always saw that talent. You know, we knew from the beginning that she's the flippin' queen, and I'm so glad that she got to do it. I'm still not seeing.
Oh, that makes them flippin' frack.
Yeah.
No, they were on last season. They were twins.
Go for it.
No, I to go what you're saying, in her doll speech, she was like, she's shy, she's outgoing. No, those are two, you can't be
Completely
shy and
opposite
outgoing.
things.
Can't be both.
Like, what does that mean? And then she got on stage, and then she did that, and we were like, oh, we kind of understand what you mean now. We get it. I didn't notice until now when Kevo was going through the photos. Geneva changed her shoes for the lip sync, which I'm surprised they let her do. I wonder if she couldn't really move in them because she had those ugly white pumps on, and then she has that little like combat booty.
Yeah.
No, Plain Jane didn't dance. Oh, I'm sorry. I heard ugly white pump and got confused. I'm sorry.
No, she doesn't have. Oh,
Good.
I'm gonna say I think this was definitely Geneva's time. I think she's a very wonderful person. I love what she did for representation, and she even kind of seemed not resigned, but she was like, "No, okay, I think I'm right."
She went out so proud.
Yes,
Mama, if
she
you're
did.
Gonna go out on a hat trick. Go out on a hat trick.
She had a great departure. Great, like
That record card.
Mm-hmm.
Your point.
Oh my God! Thank you for reminding me because I didn't want to get to it. This woman, this beautiful woman, this Latina, this pop star, this diva,
This Mexican entrepreneur.
has the most iconic track record of top two, bottom two, win, elimination. I think every single episode, this poor woman had to lip sync and dance and strut around for RuPaul.
Yep.
And you know what? We salute you, diva.
America has not had this up and down a relationship with a woman since Paris Hilton. This is
Also, they need to stop producing Untucked and let them just do things.
Untucked is unwatchable
Because we got would have been one of the most interesting fights in a while of Plane coming for Plasma. She found her next victim, and them all laughing at that leaf. Oh, when when Geneva said, "Plane, I hope you fucking crash."
Yep.
She looked at the camera like she just said that to me.
Sometimes I joke
Also,
that if I
Plane
ever-
has to stop doing gym at the camera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Cut the camera. There's
Cut
like
to the camera.
there's a phrase that you use when you accidentally look at the camera.
Cheat the camera.
Cheat the camera.
Yeah, cheat the camera.
You know, I feel like
cheat.
you all know that person that when they're like, if I ever got mugged, I would just start biting the mugger. That's Plasma. Plasma
Yes.
was sitting there waiting to be like, I'm gonna play it on you, I'm gonna bite you, and like absolutely was so ready to unleash this creature that she has packed away to be this beautiful angel that she tries to be.
I
But,
mean,
oh my
Jane is 0
God.
for 3 in picking victims.
She really is.
It did not work out with Amanda. It
Oh God,
didn't work
something
out.
she's bad at then finally.
It didn't work out with Saphira. Although, you know, maybe Saphira's the worst one, because if that conversation was what did it, of her saying, I think maybe Saphira should drink the potion, then, you know, that one worked. But ever since, Miss Jane, maybe you should untangle that bracelet from your arm hair before you read. I knew that I was not worried about Plasma one bit. She might be short and look vaguely like a changeling, but she
Fucking
is
solids.
she is all set. She is good to go, which I find so impressive because this type of queen, this Jinx Monsoon-esque queen, usually is not good to go on their season. They either can't take the heat or they can't dish it back, Robbie Turner, in a way that is actually funny and good and like, you know, actually would let you survive. Plasma really does kind of have it all. I don't think she's top 4 material. I think she's definitely believably top 6.
And even the little bit that we got, because they sent in Law Roach at the worst moment, but
I love Be My Lover and Sweet Dreams.
it very much seemed like she was ready to be like, no, Plane, like and she said, I trust you. You're my friend. I know that you didn't mean it with malice, but if you're going to come to me, make a whole spectacle of you standing in the middle of the room or something, I am going to take it a certain kind of way. You can say you're joking, but like, let's learn how to communicate it better. And like, I was just very impressed by this person's emotional intelligence in a pressure cooker to be like, no, we're not doing this. You will not pick on me the way you did Amanda. So props to you, Plasma. Truly, like.
And I will say it sucks that La Roche came in when she did and ruined that fight. But La Roche and Lady Gaga, I think the best two people to go backstage and talk to the queens in the history of the show.
Mm-hmm.
What a wonderful chance to stop and have a conversation with somebody who has not just the passion, because that's the thing. All of the other guests who have gone backstage have a passion for performance and love the queens and love what they're doing. Charlize Theron might be the third, actually. But
she's a shockingly human and also silly person. I don't even
yeah.
have
Well, and you know, I found out later that it turns out that she attends a ton of drag shows.
Oh
and
yeah, no, this is like her actual, like, very public.
Yeah,
this is her very public, personal joy. Like, she makes no bones about that.
So you know, the person I'm thinking about who, like, I love Sarah Michelle Gellar so much, and she clearly loved them as performers and like colleagues in that way, where we're all here trying to do what we have to do and
we're all making
ply our craft. But like, she didn't really have anything to say, and it was like it was one of those.
What does Buffy have to say at a pediatrician summit? Like,
you
she
really
just doesn't...
slayed, girls, and like in these hard times, and it's so cringy to see
Sashay into these deals.
It 100% that. But La Roche and Lady Gaga were the two people that I can think of that sat there and were like, this is what was good, this is what didn't work, this is like everybody, and it was just so great. It really was the thing that made me want her full time.
Well, the thing I do need to say is that I think she blew her chance at full time, because RuPaul is literally standing on that stage looking one of the most beautiful she's ever looked in the entire history of the show. That is my kind of outfit. Those are my colors. My God, she looks beautiful. And La Roche is in literally the best outfit to be on that stage in 10 years.
Yeah.
And
she's wearing the stage.
That is such a ferocious suit.
Yeah.
You should never upstage RuPaul when Ru is looking at S+. It's really ugly.
I think I'm 100% certain they knew you don't invite La Roche onto Drag Race and not expect exactly that to happen. Ru has been in maintenance mode with the looks for a really long time. She desperately doesn't want to do it anymore. I truly don't blame her. Given how much she hates being in drag, she still manages to look pretty phenomenal.
Poor Zaldi having to pump out all these looks like
and given the fact that it's not just this show, it's the it's UK versus the world, various all-stars, guest appearances, that she still even has clothes to wear and hasn't just literally worn everything that the world has to produce for clothing.
Yeah,
never. So like,
it's repeated.
Repeater badge.
I think that she is just happy to have clothes on. And, I think she's fully okay in this case.
I know she loves this because it's easier for her to put her sweatpants on.
Right. Yeah. You just throw them right,
right on. Grandma gets to put her sweatpants on, give her some tea. She's fine.
Oh,
yes,
speaking of TS, it was great to see her this episode.
She also should be full time.
I love how tiny
the thing is, I want La Roche to replace Carson. We can't really lose Ross.
No, and it's because Ross would still need to be invited back to write all the jokes. Because what would they do without Ross? What would any television show do without
union writers? I'm not joking about that.
I don't know what any other television show would do without Ross Matthews ghostwriting for them. It would be impossible for them to be funny.
But really, TS has has that thing. It's the je ne sais quoi of being a Drag Race judge. It is the other side of the spectrum, kind of, from Michelle Visage, where you go like, well, she's not actually a drag queen, so what right does she have to be here doing this? But it is an experience of the world plus an it factor. TS has it too, and I think she should be there full time. Anyway,
But I heard the world.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before we go there, can I talk
Yeah.
about one more queen who?
yes.
Well, it depends. Who is she?
Who is she?
Is it Freddie Mercury?
Yes.
Is it Liz too?
Oh, is it Liz Fair? You can talk as much as you want about Exile. and
It's
Guided
Lilith
Warfare.
Fair.
We talked about Lilith Fair earlier today.
I know
Who
if
is
I
it?
made that joke.
All
No,
What?
Tsunami.
Yeah.
Tsunami.
Epic, amazing.
I loved her flamenco,
amazing queen.
which is also
Yes.
this a very, very big disconnect between the mini challenge. There usually is. This was so random. Did they all have to? Did they tell them to bring a flamenco look?
No,
like
they
it's
knew they were getting rid of Geneva, so they were like, "We have to get this in real quick."
It's just so weird that they all have one.
Yeah.
She also looks like who plays Barbara Howard?
Oh yeah,
Jennifer.
Mrs.
No,
No,
Jennifer
Mrs.
Holliday.
Howard from Abbott Elementary.
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
She kind of looks like it's the hair.
Cheryl.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Party. Put a cork in it. Literally. One of the. Anyway,
yeah.
circling back to this. I loved her flamenco. I loved her dance. For those who don't follow the dolls. Oh,
Cheryl Lee Ralph.
thank you, Shirley Ralph.
Thank you.
She won a trip to Spain, but she can't go because of her DACA status. So
Here's to the DACA Queens. Love you so much.
we love you. They still honored a prize for her. They gave her $5,000, which is a challenge win. So she essentially got the money of a challenge win. But they still get to give the trip away, and she gave it to Hershey. I thought that was really sweet, and she's somebody who I enjoy. I would love to hang out with Tsunami.
Oh, for sure.
But I felt really bad because she didn't really have a story this episode. She was just not seen after the mini challenge. Literally,
Well,
like,
and yeah, because her doll went first too, so that was another huge part of this challenge. And there being 11 of them, I forgot some of them by the end. So Tsunami went first, and then that was it for her for the whole episode.
and this wasn't the strongest of looks or everything, but everything it looks 1-to-1. It looks beautiful.
Yes, I
together.
agree.
I think she had the best translation.
If Rihanna was cosplaying Ariel, the Little Mermaid, going
Yeah, okay.
to an afternoon tea, this is what she would wear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I see that.
I dig the vibe. Yeah, so I as much as I love the entertainment value we are getting, I do recognize queens like Tsunami, Morphine, and Megami aren't getting a lot of screen time. I don't know if they're just not giving enough to work with. I don't know if they're just because they're not fully involved. Though Q saying, so I heard you're what did she New Yorican? New Eureka. That entire conversation was so bizarre.
Yeah.
And Megami had to look at her like, what are you talking about?
That was one
Oh.
of those things where I was like, no.
I mean,
You
I
think
can
that you
totally
can
understand
psychologically
if you
find
have
it?
never lived anywhere near New York. Because I did not know what a Nuyorican was when I moved from Maine to New York. I found out freshman year. I found out in 2 months.
What do
But
people think that Jennifer Lopez is? Unique?
no,
she
from
was not.
from the Bronx.
No,
She's Jenny from the block. I didn't know there was a person type. I found out later. And Q seems a little disconnected from that whole scene. So I get it. I just like whatever producer was like, you have to go up and ask about what a Nuyorican is.
So
And
she's
I'm
like, I
not
heard-
going to repeat how to pronounce it. So you just figure out what I just said.
She
That
literally
was
said-
mean, producer. That was a mean thing. That
So
you
I
did to
heard
Q.
you're a New Yorican, and then in that vein of conversation, Megami was like, yeah, like, oh, like, what are you? And then Q just goes into her poverty story, which is fine. It was
Yeah.
just very weird, very
Well,
like,
like,
I want to
that's
talk about
not the
me
same
now.
thing.
Cuban and Greek and Irish, and you
And
are.
I'm poor.
Oh, okay.
I'm
he's
poor.
poor.
Like, yeah, it was more so to the point. I think there are some queens here who have some really cool it factor. Like this week, I thought Megami did a lot better than the judges seemed to just ignore her.
Hundo P.
You probably could have replaced her with Jane, but so I
The
really
judges
do
literally never know what to do with a thick girl.
no, and I really do hope we kind of get to see a little bit more of them. I hope
Me
I
too.
really in the future at my last wrapping point, I really hope in the future they stop doing this of ignoring so many queens and like trying to balance just a little bit more so that because I literally just feel bad. I
In
feel
16
bad.
seasons of Drag Race, they've never said, these aren't the tops and bottoms, but we're going to send these queens up because they haven't been judged yet. And that would be really fucking fun.
Actually, I remember Project Runway at some point was just like, it's been the same people in the top and bottom 6 weeks in a row.
Sandro being like, no, I want critiques. What's wrong with my look?
Yeah, I want critiques. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, I mean that is part of it. People really do, and like they got that with La Roche backstage, which I absolutely loved. But I think you're right. Like if we're gonna keep doing this thing where we have 14 plus queens, and it's a little difficult. It is difficult to give everybody attention in that much time. I get it, 100%. And some people are just simply not going to stand out. But there has to be some other solution, and I think it would be very easy to say these are the winners, you guys did great, these are the losers, we're going to come back to you in a little bit, but I would like these 6 queens to stay because they haven't been judged. I think that would be groundbreaking. It would be really fun. And my last thing that I just want to say, and I've already put this on Twitter, but I want to keep putting it out into the world because I just think something could really fundamentally shift in the universe if Megami has to explain what Shin Megami Tensei is to RuPaul.
Yes.
I really just want her to be like, where did you get that name? And then Megami has to explain that actually there's a game coming out right now where you shoot yourself in the head every time you want to summon somebody.
Dreams.
What?
Dreams. Tsunami explaining legendary Pokemon, just starting with Articuno and making their way through it.
Tsunami's been going on these beautiful threads of like queens as the Pokemon.
Pokemon,
Queen
yeah.
as,
Oh my
queen as
God,
Digimon.
They're so
We
good.
love a nerd.
Everything.
It
Okay.
sounds like we are pitching a web series where the girls individually explain pop culture to RuPaul like
Yes.
it's that Dionne Warwick
Talk show.
sketch from SNL.
You're a spooky bitch. Can you help me cast a hex on Wendy Williams?
Well,
And what do we do with these Pokemons? I don't know about all this.
until I am cast as Wergarurumon, I think it is time to move on to UK
Across the pond.
versus the world, or as I like to call it, mayhem. What the fuck? Okay, dialing it back a minute. I just love mayhem, so this broke my heart. Marina Summers, thank you. One of them sounds like a delicious drink. One of them just sounds like a really cool drag name. Marina Summers is one of the most unbelievable star power creatures I have ever seen in an instant. So I sometimes have like a funny bit, like I'm Pete Milligan, and I think it's funny to call all French people surrender monkeys and stuff. And so I did my funny bit being silly and being like, oh, she's from France, I'm going to be silly and, playfully root against her. And it was immediately like, no, what a powerhouse. Le Grand Dame is a genius. And I was so happy for seeing these incredible international queens be amazing, kind of in light of Scarlet fading into the background and Mayhem really letting me down. No, Scarlet's vocal performance was rough.
I listen. That's fine. I don't know if it was the strongest performance, but it was not bottom worthy.
Oh, it was not bottom worthy, but she faded into the background.
That's fine. I just don't
I
think RuPaul hates her.
Here's what I will say about the entire thing. Almost every one of these queens gave me what I expect from a talent show. I really want every single queen that goes on Drag Race, new or old, to watch this particular talent show to understand the difference between getting up and lip syncing to a song, whether you produced it or not, and doing a little dance number to it versus like literally if you just do that and then twirl some fire sticks around, twirl different fire sticks around, it really doesn't have to be much. You get a looping pedal in the mix. Nobody is asking you to do a one-woman show, a one-man band, although I mean she did. But like, do something more than what a standard expectation for the job is. That is the point of the talent show. I was really stoked that they all did that.
I'm doing a one-woman show of Snowpiercer. I'm playing all the roles, including the train.
All right, keep it moving, Shining Time Station.
I mean, are you Mayhem?
Fuck.
Poor
Whoops,
Mayhem.
forgets how
She
to be a
just
train.
she just blanked. That sucks. But also, it does really feel like the U.S. queens are here to make sure that eyes get on the show for a minute that wouldn't otherwise. And then we don't really need them. These Mayhem felt like somebody who, by name alone, I could have seen going to the top 4. But immediately when she didn't, I was like, that's fine. I don't care. It's, I love her, but this is not heartbreaking. And Scarlett, I simply do not see winning this competition. I love her. I love her. But I really think that the American queens are there to be like, hey, there's American queens too. You gotta watch. And then the rest of it is just like, basically for stupid Americans, we get that you're never going to watch Drag Race France because you're not going to read the subtitles, but God, are you missing out on the hottest one alive?
After seeing La Grande Dame out of drag, in drag, this beautiful person, listen, it's the same amount of love I have for Nymphia when somebody so beautiful still chooses stupidity and dumbness. It's like,
it's why you love me.
It is why I love you.
That's the act, but then it's not the performance.
No.
That she created a ridiculous sound structure. I don't know. It was, I was so impressed. And I have watched most of her season.
I will go back to watch.
Some of these other ones I have not seen as much. But I was really glad that everybody got up there and displayed a talent. And that's all I really cared about for this first one.
I agree. What I imagine a lot of these versus the worlds do is kind of what you're saying is they're a little bit more so advertisements for these other franchises. Yeah. Like truly, I will go watch Drag Race France. I do. España's been on my radar, especially because España has its own All-Stars, which is on my radar to go watch. I do want to go through Philippines to go see Marina Summers, who I think is an absolute firecracker star.
Honestly, I will say Philippines probably the best foreign language franchise. And I say foreign language franchise, but they like 85% speak English. So if you're watching this and aren't sure, the subtitles almost aren't necessary.
I will go watch, Drag Race Holland for Kita Minaj. There's only a couple of international queens I wasn't familiar with because I just haven't seen those seasons yet. But these were really good advertisements to get me to want to watch those seasons. Yeah. So I'm really excited for that. I will say they chose a couple of the UK girls that I expected more from. I mean,
Gothy Kendall, legend.
I fully forgot who was announced for this season, so everybody coming out was like, oh, like I truly, everything just leaves my brain as soon as it enters. So I was excited.
Mayhem.
Mayhem. I was excited to see her because again, she's the UK pork chop. She was the first eliminated, and I was like, okay, what have you done since then to prepare yourself for Drag Race? And it still feels like she was a little bit shaken.
Yeah.
And there was the confidence issue. And when the guest judge was like, I wish you didn't do the fire because I would have loved to see more of your dancing. And I was like, no, she can't dance still. Yeah. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But then I don't know.
I thought the fire was a smart choice given the fact that she couldn't dance.
I agreed with Anaconda. I was unsettled by the fact that she felt relieved that
she 100% did not know.
Which they also had to do it twice. So
yeah. No, I lived for that. It sucks because it was really sad. You could tell her season that she just literally did not want to open her mouth. Physically, she did
Yes.
not want you to see her teeth. And that's horrible. That is the worst. I mean, like, I love that in those early seasons, not a single girl cared that they were showing up to Drag Race with the most busted teeth. The worst person, Trinity, she's had a flipper. Good to go. Nobody cared. I felt really sad for her on her season, that you could tell that 90% of her lack of confidence was that
her
she,
teeth, yeah.
yeah. And now it's
Same.
kind of a bummer because they're totally fixed. She's absolutely gorgeous. And the lack of confidence is just, it's something else.
Well, the lack of television charisma isn't great either.
Right.
She
Yeah.
might
I mean, it might not
really
be confidence.
phenomenal.
You're exactly right. It's more that.
She might be incredible in a bar. She might be a lot of fun, but like, as somebody who loves to hit that 120 words per minute, she hit the syllables, but she did not perform that song, no matter how fast she sang it.
Yeah.
There was a lack of a number of these performances were just pretty stupid. They were just not good songs, and like, that's what I was talking about when we started
You're
this.
talking about Tia, aren't you?
Oh no, I loved Tia. I think
Okay.
Tia is a national treasure, no
I
matter
love
what
Tia.
country you're from.
I didn't think it was a good song. I listened to a lot of Tia's music, and I actually think something about it really works. But
What was the song that was like, "You're in a K-hole"? That was bad.
that
Um,
was
ouch.
Kita Minaj.
that was horrific.
Yeah.
But here's where I think I just want to say a thing about All Stars that's worth considering. When the best of the best show up, and like when Robert De Niro does a performance that's not very funny or not very serious, you know, the New York Times, inevitably round glasses wearing critic, says, well, even if Robert De Niro was giving a very reserved performance, it was still a De Niro level performance that was chilling to the bone. And that's sort of how I feel about what I'm told about a lot of these all-stars type shows. I actually don't think that what Scarlett did was an all-stars performance. I actually thought it was a safe performance for a regular season, but because these are supposed to be the best of the best in the literal world, and Gothy, I felt like perhaps a flat, tonally challenged performance that summoned up the most average elements of Lorna, when you could have just been Barbara, was a little disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I thought Scarlett's the comedy was really the point, and
But
I
then
thought,
she should have gone with original jokes instead of making fun of using generic jokes with generic jokes.
yeah, I don't know. I thought it was definitely not a top 3 performance at all.
No, RuPaul just hates her.
It could have used one more week in workshopping and then been fine.
Yeah. I mean, I could see how it could have been. I'm not saying it was good. I could see how it could have been a lot better. I just I feel like I would have smiled and enjoyed myself a little bit at a cabaret or a drag show where that was her thing. But you're right. That's not necessarily, that's great that I just said that, but that's not All Stars. That's a different, if you're coming in for a competition like this. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. You know, but again, ultimately I was really happy everybody had a full concept and, you know, gave something unique to them. I hated the prompt for this runway. I really felt like it was doomed from the beginning. I was really shocked that Scarlett got such good critiques on the runway.
It's a very beautiful dress, but it doesn't say anything specific about the US.
Yeah. And the headpiece is not good enough.
No.
It's a really good concept. It looks high school art project-y.
I thought the colors and the layer of sheen that Scarlett was trying to achieve felt like Purple Mountain's Majesty in, like you're kind of saying, like a high school art project.
Yeah.
So I can see where she was coming from. The one that I thought was truly unforgivable, and I completely disagree with them. That Beefeater
Britannia.
costume. Yeah,
Rupert-
that was the. Oh
Wait,
no.
hold on. Gothies or
Oh, Gothies. Yeah, no.
oh.
I genuinely thought that Beefeater costume was something that you could have bought off the rack.
I liked the Beefeater. I did not like Rue Britannia.
Yeah, the Rue Britannia also looks like something you could have bought off the rack, as
Yes.
frankly does Mayhem.
I think Mayhem looks gorgeous.
She looks gorgeous in something very pedestrian.
No, I personally disagree, but I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and she looks incredible in it. It is not the most original thing I see on that runway when Le Grand Dame is literally okay. When you think about frog dress and a big donkey dick, you think about Lady Gaga because that's that interview. But then you've got this, and now you're like, that's the BDE I want in a frog dress, and I mean, no choice.
She played on another level this entire episode. Like it's almost it's difficult to talk about. This is the best look by leaps and bounds. It's phenomenal. Frogs. I am hopping mad that other people didn't do anyway.
Frogs.
It's
I'm
Yes,
Anaconda.
Kevo.
I'm from down under. No frogs here.
Marina also looked absolutely gorgeous, of course. It's really they put their stamp on the competition very early, and they are going to be exceedingly tough to compete with throughout this whole thing. And I'm very, very excited to see that. I was so excited to see Tia looking so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Tia, the glow up.
Which she even said, I'm happy I get to come back.
Yeah, I
and
finally get to wear something
beautiful
nice
on the runway.
Yep.
I saw a meme that was Tia's original season, and it's an image of Hannah Montana, and then it's Tia's All-Star season, and it's a picture of Miley at the aforementioned awards show.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that Tia is one of those queens for whom, and I mean this honestly, poverty was the greatest hurdle in her success.
Yeah.
And for Scarlett, it seems to be slightly questionable taste. So like I don't mean that mean, but I mean like that headpiece is of questionable taste, and it's not all there.
Can I talk about somebody who I wanted to do better, who I do enjoy, and I don't mind the delusion? This was John Bruce. What are you wearing?
What the oh my god, it was truly one of the worst things on the runway in a while.
I don't like this. I feel bad because I know she kind of got a lot of shit from her season. I don't really.
Did she?
I felt like people like. No, I would say shit, but I guess people didn't really warm up to her a lot. She didn't.
She's annoying as fuck.
Which is fine. I'm annoying as fuck too. I get it.
Yeah.
Hey, bitch me too the fuck. But she. And that's fine. Not everybody's gonna like into everybody, and that's okay. That has to be valid. That not everybody will be liked, as well as some other people. But I don't know. She came out and it's like, I'm really gonna show them what fashion's all about. And then she kept wearing all that stuff, and I was like, oh no, you actually are delusional, and that's okay. You do need to be delusional to be a drag queen.
It was very weird, though, that she was like, I came in saying I was going to be the fashion queen, and everybody was like, no, you're funny. And I realized I was funny, so I'm going to be funny. And then everything she did was a bad attempt at doing fashion.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
I truly don't either. I thought it was very funny that they early on recognized that they have one win, but the UK girls have one win.
Oh my god!
Them.
And then this week, listen, I love Teresa. I really, really do. I think her entrance line is from UK season 3, still my favorite thing in the entire world. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Hate me because I'm an immigrant is the funniest, most. Oh, I mean, we got a contender this episode with I'm here to chop down the colonizers.
Yep.
With that's it's up there as one of the best. But I was surprised they were so positive on her. I liked the song. I didn't really think a lot of it felt okay. It felt okay to me. It didn't really feel like her strengths.
Yeah.
So the fact that they praised it a lot more only just confused me a little bit. But no, they have one win between all of them, and it was the girl group shared win.
Yep.
She didn't win a challenge on her own.
It's a quarter of a win. It's a quarter of a
I
win.
believe what we're looking at here is UK versus the world and some stars.
Yes.
Mayhem Miller.
I do want to say her
lost
name
my
one
mind.
time because I think we have mentioned literally every other queen Arancha is really funny. Her
Yes.
Her bit was
talent.
awful and weird.
Well, in a good
I didn't
way.
think so. I thought it was really funny. I was super weird. It was very weird, and it made me uncomfortable in a way that I enjoyed for the time that I was there.
I loved RuPaul going, so who's gonna get the door?
Yes.
I thought it was a really good ending to it. It was funny.
I thought it was funny. I really did laugh. I like her a lot. I don't see her winning this, but I love that she's there. I love Drag Race España, and happy to see a trans queen in the mix.
So I could not be more excited for that.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun with this one.
You know, the punchline cannot be the whole episode. So, oh, you know, I meant the whole joke. But anyway, are we wrapping this guy up and moving on over to Traitors?
We sure are.
Okay. We said a lot about Traitors already. What I really want to focus on is Phaedra hates poverty. She hates her. She hates her. And I think it's one of those things where Dan was like, listen, Phaedra, I think that what we could do is we could make poverty do what we want. And Phaedra was like, okay, whatever, Dan. And Dan was like, this is what we're doing. And she was like, we could have that nice Janelle girl. We could have my Burgerlicious and his giant sweatpants mound. But
I'm
no,
getting that image. Don't worry.
we're
God.
gonna sit with poverty. Her name alone, the way they
Parvati?
pronounce it. The way they pronounce it.
I know everybody says poverty.
Well, you know, I just, this is tame compared to Phaedra just going up to poverty and being like, no one likes you. Everyone thinks you're a traitor. Smile more.
Well, so hold on. No One Likes You was the original fight after Parvati threw her under the bus. And then this episode was so great because Parvati's been keeping good under, like, trying to stay in Phaedra's good graces. I think she really thought that it was a smart strategy to throw the housewives under the bus and that it wouldn't really affect Phaedra and then they would never look like they were in cahoots. And ever since Phaedra bit back at her for that, she has been so good. She has been so trying to make Phaedra like her. And the fact that we got to the torch lighting and Phaedra was just like, well, I'm not saving that bitch. And then she wasn't mean about it. She just didn't save her. And then when they got up into the tower, she was like, really, nobody likes you, though. Like, she wasn't yelling at her this time. She was like, you need to be nicer. Like,
You're an
make
ice
people.
princess.
Melissa, pick up your face, girl.
I'm grabbing images like right now off of Twitter and stuff, and someone tweeted, Phaedra, you have to stop making that face. Parvati, what face? And then this is Parvati's face. Like,
Yes.
your face is bad.
Why is your face like that?
That's the face she was born with. It was very bizarre. They took
the
this.
face of poverty.
They took the
right
torches
there.
very seriously. It was
Yep.
very weird to them.
Which is
like,
hilarious. It's the
how-
most unserious fucking thing you could possibly
personal-
do.
And say whatever you want about Trishelle. She's allowed to be in her feelings.
No, she's not.
No,
She's not allowed to be in her
No,
feelings.
But whatever. I thought it was, her getting mad at CT over it was such bullshit. But more importantly, Poverty being like, well, she's gonna save me, and it doesn't matter. You're a traitor. You're not gonna die.
Right.
But it was also like, Poverty, everybody still thinks you're a traitor. Why would she save you? That's the most suspicious move in the entire world.
Yep.
I made a joke on the panel that I was on earlier today that I'm only disappointed that we have aged out of the point at which Skin from Generation X could be played by Steve Buscemi. And it was pointed out to me that actually he is famous for his, hey, fellow youth.
How do you do?
How do you do, fellow kids?
So, you know, I think that is one of those situations where you kind of have to look at it and you can kind of laugh at how things wound up and where it all began. I think for me, the hardest part of this crew of faithfuls is they are more interested in being hurt. That is something that is so almost unique to this franchise at this point on Big Brother. There's always somebody being like, yeah, but it's a game. Even Russell the Love Muscle on his way out the door kind of laughed and was like, yeah, I got, you know, shit happens. But hey, Burgerlicious. It explains how he got on Love Island. But you know, okay, also I have a theory as a guy who also might do this on occasion for the same reason. If you make a decision when you realize that the number of alpha males is herding out to start presenting yourself in a dominant way, I truly wonder if Bergie thinks this is his chance to show masculinity in some form, even if that is like a third grade read on it. I think this is locker room rules. This is Traitors Scotland. And I think that there is something interesting about the high school devolvement of everyone's behavior. Best example.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah.
By Poverty and Trishelle, who are sort of like, I thought you had my back. And Phaedra literally saying, yeah, nah, you got like a mean girl thing going on.
See, and I thought it was also unbelievably exemplified by both the fashion choices and the awkward potty dance.
Oh my god.
Oh
my god.
Who is
MJ,
this woman?
Who is this woman? MJ stole the show, stole the
Sorry.
The fact that she was like trying to sneak and then she lifted her pants up as if that would make her quieter.
Oh my god. Has everybody seen the gif of this photoshopped into Dune?
Yes.
Her like
really,
flood pants with the pockets.
This is MJ's week. MJ has not been shining.
No.
And now I think it's a whole other game. Unfortunately, you know, God, I wish they were like actively producing this show because I don't know that. I really hope that she gets more screen time next week. Also, Sandra doing some girl math with the votes was
fully going to survivor mode, being like, "Hey, no, this is how it's going to run down.
Yeah,
this is what we should be doing," which is the part of the social game that the other side doesn't seem to realize.
Yeah,
sure, they have this group. They're in the minority. There's 5 of them.
There's not enough people.
You don't have the numbers to keep voting people out. You got Dan, sure. No, it's the same thing in Survivor. It's the same thing in Big Brother. You don't make these power moves. You don't boast around this power when you don't have the numbers because it's going to get flipped on you.
I just want to, I mean this really seriously. When I look at Kevin, one of the things that hurts Kevin is he's so beautiful. It's kind of hard to take him seriously. Something that works in Dan Giesling's favor is that he basically looks like a smarmy version of Gordon Gekko. Something that I just really want to say is that Sandra comes off incredibly threatening, and she made the decision to come on this show with adult braces. She did not have them taken off because they give her somewhat of a tonal lisp. She is playing this game as though she doesn't give a shit what you think about how she looks or sounds.
It's a power play. You underestimate me now.
It's the goat legs. You know, it really is unbelievable that she's unstoppable. And I feel like as somebody who one time, guys, I'm going to bring up one time and all 3 of them are going to roll their eyes and laugh. But one time I had this pimple right here and I thought I was going to literally die. I don't know how to not be beautiful. I can't leave the bubble. It doesn't go well for me. And so like, I feel like if Kevin burned his finger making eggs that morning, he would be like, owie, I'm not beautiful anymore.
Egg whites? Do we have egg whites?
Boiled eggs.
Boiled eggs?
And so I really feel like Sandra is playing a strong game by not being compromising.
The older women are...
Wow, do you hear this guy?
Old women.
Coming for women. Wow.
Women in STEM.
Wow.
Women in finance.
Wow. Women in their old age, evidently. Women in diapers, evidently. Wow.
Go ahead, Kev, play it.
It's loading weird, but it's keep talking.
While she buffers, you know, we've got Sandra, we've got MJ. there is a contingent, and Phaedra is in this mix too. There's a contingent of women who are playing a very different game than it's not even the other women, because like Kate is not there to be hot. This is so good. Kate is not there.
I mean, and then she's like, "You just need to be more lovable," and she just goes, "Okay," and she goes, "Yeah, you need to be more lovable."
There it is.
Actually makes me
Let it play.
Oh my god.
This had to. I'm very serious. This really had to be Carrie Russell's face the first time she heard the reviews for Felicity.
Yes.
I'm a feminist. You know, it's just
the women are
That's
playing
good,
such
girl.
a different game, and it just feels like all of it's Pete, Kevin, and Bergie are there to look hot, and Pete is kind of misunderstanding his place and really trying, like, you know, he is a golden retriever, just picking up those clues and playing those games. But like the guys have a real vested interest in seeming masculine and sexy, and like you've got people like Sandra showing up and being like, I'm here to win fucking money, bitch.
goddess Sandra.
And I am very down for it. Even Phaedra, I mean, Phaedra is a queen. She is gorgeous, but she's not like, I'm 25 and want you to see my beach body. Every time they do a physical challenge, she goes, I'm scared.
Yeah.
And then she
Hold my
holds on-
hand, CT.
CT. She grabs for CT.
Oh my god, no, but let's take the minute. You know, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I guess I gotta light a torch or something, you know. It's like it's
Gotta do what I gotta do.
You know, I'm actually who Goodwill Hunting is based on. I'm Goodwill Hunting. So I'm
Good
gonna
hunting.
I'm not gonna light Trishelle's torch because she gave me chlamydia. So and Trishelle, we just gotta
The
gotta
boo-hooing.
the
The
boo-hooing.
betrayal.
that
The
is literally
betrayal.
a lot of tears for technically
safe.
safe. I mean,
For 100% safe.
he
I
did
really,
not-
that would have been a great moment for Phaedra to be like, why are you begging for your life? No one cares about you.
I'm a traitor. I'm not gonna kill you, okay?
Well, I mean, I feel bad. That's how I felt when they lighted Cherie's torch because
Oh, 100%. I was really, I mean, like, that's why it was so funny, because
It gave
she,
Phaedra
like,
real tears.
convincing.
it just, like, that Parvati was not even in the mix. It was so funny. It was so good.
It was what we talked about earlier. It felt like because Pete said no, which I think is the worst move in the entire world, because he's not, and part of it is he's not a social game player, so he obviously recognized, no, if I lie, it's going to be really easy to tell, and it's going to be really hard for me to do that. The holier than thou attitude of I'm going to win this for the right reason. This is not The Bachelor. This is not The Bachelor. There is no right reason or
You're
wrong
not a
reason here.
hero. You're not a real hero. This is the Traitor US season 2.
And it's
He's a pilot, Kevo. That is a hero.
he
of
had
the
sex in a
skies.
windmill 4 times.
That's
He's
the
not
hero
flying
of the
any
windmill.
planes or having sex in any windmills on this show.
No.
He's just a dude.
But in his B-roll, I sometimes do think if he thinks about that windmill. I wonder what the windmill's doing right now.
I know you bring it up every day.
I know, because it's hysterical to me. But more importantly, it goes back to him not recognizing this is a social game, because it's not what he's from. He's from The Bachelor. It's not to say that someone from a show like on one of the Bravo shows, from The Bachelor, from whatever, can't do well in this game. But it's the fact that repeatedly people were like trying to be like, hey, what are you guys talking about? To be like, no, can you just give us a minute? And it's like,
Just a minute.
you understand, you still need these people on your side. Just because you trust these 4 people around you, sure, that's great. You don't have the numbers.
Well,
Yep,
okay.
he's
The
not
thing I do
smart.
want to say is, like, I don't know if Sandra thought she was being uplifting when she was like, I'm going to teach you guys how to count on your fingers. Or if she was being infantilizing But all said and done, it does seem like a number of these people would benefit from a simple understanding of how tallies work.
Yep.
And it is remarkable to me that if you tell some people, no, if they vote for you, that's enough votes, you're out. We need to steal one of them. And they're like, no, I would never do anything as underhanded as, oh my God, break into another social group. I wouldn't do that. Oh, well, then I guess you've never heard of number ones. So, there's a number one in our hearts. The thing I do want to say as we wrap up Traitors is there was no banishment.
Leave it.
Instead, there was a rather shocking attempt to sustain the Peter, Phaedra, and poverty drama as long as they could. What I think this episode then suffered from is a lack of production focus. I felt like I was never sure where we were driving. And it's because I honestly feel like they came up with this torch lighting ceremony in the woods as a result of that day's B-roll when they realized either, they're going to lose Peter or they're going to lose poverty. And at this point, they're not ready to lose either. So for me, I think while the Traitors made the weirdest snap decision ever, it might have been the move that kept the season exciting. It's what we were just talking about with Q. This upheld the tension. I think we got there in a dumb way, but I'm grateful for the additional tension.
Yeah, I see that. Again, like, I think my thing is I never think we're anywhere with this show. So this just didn't feel weird to me because the show does not feel like it has any structure or like there are actually really any rules. The rules might exist, but people aren't really. It seems like a lot of the contestants aren't aware of them and are not really playing with any knowledge of them.
John, the bedroom's upstairs. John,
room's upstairs. John.
Poverty holding his hand like she was a sugar baby, trying to lead her.
Okay, and then they did not once cut to her being like, "Oh, John's gonna definitely save me." John is just like, "I believe that as a politician, that Peter, who fucks in windmills,
Nice.
Which has always been a dream of mine,
because I took a very proper life." But I would have loved to be a young rapscallion like these young lads. Like, he has
Remember,
I want to be cool energy. It's amazing. I root for
remember
John.
when a high point of drama was John having asthma? This
I'm
is that
just saying,
same show.
You told me that you needed an inhaler, and now you don't need
You're
an
just
inhaler.
running everywhere.
This is the same show as the singing funeral.
Which I will say about this episode, much more celebrities getting caught in traps. It was a lot of fun seeing them all get yoinked up.
yes.
And then the queen of our hearts, who we haven't talked about yet, Kate saying, "Oh, I'm really comfortable. I don't have to do anything. I feel like I'm back in the womb."
Oh my God, I was kind of annoyed that Kate was like, "Ooh, yeah, I don't like this Peter," but you know what? It actually fits with her gameplay style. She hates a white knight. She really resists anybody who thinks that they're better than anyone else other than her.
I think it's hilarious that Kate got a letter that was like, "Welcome, Kate. You are one of the faithful," and she just went, "No, I'm not." And now she's just betraying everyone, actively, bold-facedly, just actively being bad at her job at all times. And she's like, "If you all don't get any money, I will still go home to my gorgeous baby, and I don't give a shit about any of you."
I was fully ready to this challenge, being like, she's gonna throw more money away because they have to hold on to it to the end. She's just gonna throw it away.
I think the only thing that makes me nervous about the third season renewal on Traitors US is I don't know how they're going to fit Kate into the third season.
They'll figure it out.
I hope she's just a co-host.
She's just the Shangela of this season.
Exactly.
I'm just here to
Hallelujah.
help you guys in the middle of all of your competitions. I'm just gonna cut the bridge. Yeah, I'm just gonna cut the bridge. And Alan is like, "No, Kate, we told you that you could literally hold one of them for 5 minutes. No, I've cut the bridge. It's fine.
I love it.
I'm in.
All right. We talked about 2 incredible episodes of Drag Race. Kind of mentioned the Untucked in the middle there, kind of tucked away, as it were. We talked about a pretty good episode of Traitors that we enjoyed quite a bit. Next week, as we have already mentioned, we are going to... Oh, no, that was Green Room. Oh, God. You guys would love our Green Room talk. We are going to be talking about the incredible Madam Web next week, or as I like to call it, the least expensive Spider-Man movie ever made.
Was that on screen? I think that was in the opening.
He said no, it was in the green room.
Yeah,
I believe you.
I can't wait. That is going to be my way to spend Valentine's Day. A couple of incredible Spider Women and Ezekiel. That's the dream. And then after that, we've got our regular round of shows. Although at the end of the month, while earlier today we were talking about our incredible time with the brilliant Demanda Martini, at the end of the month, we will be not spending time with, but spending time at a brilliant drag queen, as we are going to see one of the funniest ladies in the entire universe, Bianca Del Rio.
Beginning of next month.
Well, but so close to the end of this month.
True.
We'll be traveling then.
Yeah.
So we got some pretty exciting live stuff coming up that might I think we're actually going to be at the Bianca show during what would normally be the show.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
But you know, we're going to be covering all of this amazing stuff. Last Airbender, Godzilla, Kong, Deadpool, and Wolverine as it has to get updated. Can't wait to talk
I made
about
this, so I'll update it.
Thank you, Kevy. Can't wait to talk about Doctor Who. We have Discovery, Prodigy, Strange New Worlds, One Piece, Agatha.
You don't need to read the whole board. You don't need to read the whole board.
I was going to stop there.
Oh, fuck Daredevil.
Sure. Exactly where I said it is where you were going to stop.
You don't
from
know.
The end.
You don't
You're
know.
the one.
You don't know.
You're the one.
You're the one.
You're a
So,
traitor,
Let
man.
your best come back, Dave.
I'm
You're
very
the fucking
thirsty.
traitor.
'Cause
All right,
I'm-
everybody say your good nights. I want to go to bed.
No, really
It's time to
excited.
bring
So
up that
grateful,
you're the
Jonah. Where can
fucking
everybody
traitor.
find your super handsome face?
You can find my super handsome face at Peak Jonah. That's PEAK. TK, where can everybody find you?
You can find me at TK Elemental. Kevo, where can everybody find you?
Just fucking around with our graphics mostly.
Yeah.
Here's everybody's banners. This was Peak Jonah. This is TK Elemental. I'm your producer, Kevo Really. And then up here we've got this guy. If you like the music
are
that
you?
you're hearing,
Who would play
definitely
you?
go check him out on SoundCloud. And otherwise, where can they find you, Nico?
Y'all can find me at Nico Action. That's NICOACTION. But also, I'd like to mention, you guys can catch me doing my my live performance thing.
It's true.
You guys can catch me doing my live performance thing in April, when hopefully I don't have this horrible cold, and catch me writing songs for some amazing performers. I think there's going to be a debut in May that we're going to cover pretty extensively. One more time, you guys should check out Demanda Martini, who we cannot say enough incredible things about every minute of every day. But otherwise, like every video channel here on YouTube, we ask that you guys like, comment, and subscribe. We had such a great time talking about Drag Race 2 different ways and Traitor Sus. Even mentioned Traitor Suck. But there's 3 things we need you to do. That's stay safe, be brave, and evolve daily. And if you can do those 3 things, we can't wait to see you guys next time.